We consistently get asked how much capital a company should have in their bank account. So this is a tool we use to kind of walk through that. We call it the capital needs assessment here. And we look at capital in a couple different ways. One is the buffer capital of like what you need just from an operating standpoint. And then we also look at what are you going to be spending upcoming that you may also need in your bank account cash for. So as we look at this, we define buffer capital as basically 2 months of expenses on hand. When we think of those expenses, we're looking at your direct labor, your operating expenses, and then your debt payments. So typically operating expenses include some interest expense. So we back that out here in our buffer capital calculation, but we are essentially looking at 2 months of operating expense plus labor plus debt is where we're at on where we're saying, hey, how much cash should we have on hand? That's our minimum, and that is typically with the line of credit paid off. Now, once we have that buffer capital, then we go and look and say, okay, what infrastructure cash needs are going to be coming up, net of debt. So if we plan to finance these, then we're only looking at the down payment amount. Also, we look at launch capital. So if you're opening a new location or you're expanding operations, what's that launch capital going to look like that we need to be able to launch those operations to get to a total capital need? So if you look at a sample, we are entering the 3-month average of direct labor. So this company had on average $27,000 of direct labor, $97,000 of operating expense. We had $423 of interest expense included in that operating. So we subtracted that out, and then we added back their monthly debt payment. So it gets a 1 month of expenses of $124,000. So we're saying they should have a buffer capital of $249,000. They also need $25,000 for their shop remodel, and they're looking to open a new location, which they're going to use $30,000 of cash toward. So the total capital sitting in their bank account should be $304,000. If they're over this, we should optimize that cash and put it somewhere that can earn them money instead of in their bank account. But otherwise, if they're short of this, we also realize we need to make up a cash shortfall. So that's kind of how we look at capital need inside of a company and answer the question that so many entrepreneurs ask is, how much cash do I need on hand? Hope that helps.